Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Charlene, also known as Wonky Willems. I decided to sit down and do some collaging for some of my Patreon printables for the month of August. And I just had some music on in the background and I didn't really want to talk while I did the process. So here I am, voiceovering what I was doing. I will be putting on some music and popping in here and there to kind of explain what I'm doing. To get started, all I did was go through all of the painted papers that I have in my stash. I already knew that I had a theme for the month, and it was something fishy is going on, so I went through everything and pulled out things that I thought would make really cute fish. Fish are something that show up in my artwork pretty often, so I had already had some stamped out fish, so that's what I'm cutting up here. And honestly, when I was getting started, I had no idea what direction these collages would go in. So I kind of just started playing with things and looking at lists that I had for ideas and kind of just waiting for something to come to me. These are all the beautiful papers that I thought would make pretty fish. I definitely pulled out way more papers than I end up using, but I don't think that's always a bad thing because it kind of just lets you be free and organically create something that hopefully in the end you love. In addition to the painted papers, I did also dip into my scrapbook paper stash. I know if you were a scrapbooker, in the past 10 years, you probably have stacks and stacks of scrapbook paper just like I do. Here I started to cut up a painting that I started a long time ago and it had fish on it, so I thought, oh, let me try to transform this into something that I can use. But lo and behold, I don't end up using this piece. painting over things that I painted in the past. I'm really trying to make these pieces work, but ultimately, like I mentioned before, they just don't work out. I finally get frustrated with these pieces and realize they're just not going to work out, so I move on to trying to make new pieces that are going to work for my August printables. I start by just drawing fish shapes on the back of papers that I like, and I thought to myself, okay, well, my theme is fish, so let's just cut out a bunch of fish and kind of see how I can bring those to life and where things go from there. Once I felt like I had enough fish drawn out, I began to cut them all out and to begin the fun part of bringing them to life. Once I had all of the little fish cut out, I had the idea, what if I had a larger fish kind of peeking their heads up onto an art page or a journal spread? So that's what I'm doing here. I'm kind of just doing the half moon head shapes like they're peeking up over the edge of the page. Once I had a couple of the peekaboo fish heads cut out, I began to feel more confident in my direction of where I was going, but I did feel like I needed just a couple more colors to really bring them to life into something that I love. I'm beginning to play with options of how I want the bodies of the fish to look. Now that I have the head and the body figured out, I pull out my Tupperware of itty bitty pieces that I keep to start playing with cheeks and fins and scales. I found a piece of teal paper that had a wavy edge, and I thought it'd be cute with the fish coming up out of the water. I really liked the teal with the orange, but ultimately I didn't do that. I wanted to make this more of like a journaling card for within my journal, so I decided to give the fish a grid paper body so I'd have a place to write. Now that I have my body figured out, I want to figure out how I want to do the tail, and I just repeat the cardstock color from the face onto the tail. And I do know that I'm going to be scanning these in, so I did not fill in the pupil of the eyes on the fish because I know I'll be adding that in digitally on the iPad. As I began to work on the new fish, my heartstrings kept pulling to add scales to the tail of the cardstock tail. I just felt like it needed this kind of color. finally find a piece of paper that I want to use as the body for this fish. I sometimes feel like I flip through my papers looking for the perfect piece more than I actually do collaging, but I feel like that's part of the fun of making collage art. And I feel like these are textures that you can't get digitally, so that's another reason I like to do this process. This paper here I painted with fluorescent watercolors. This is one of my absolute favorite pieces of collage paper, and I need to make more of it. I need to have a whole collage paper making session, and fluorescent papers will definitely be highlighted in that session. This is something that I like to do. I like to add noses that are striped. I think it is so cute and adds so much pop of color. To make my eyes the same size, I just draw one eye and then I fold the paper in half and cut around the one eye with the paper folded in half, so then I have two eyes that are exactly the same. I'm trying to find something for the lips, and in my tiny stash I found some tissue paper that had ovals on it, and I thought that would make the perfect mouth. And for tissue paper, I always use matte medium instead of a glue stick. I feel like it just adheres better and it becomes a little more translucent. Now I'm just trying to work out what color I want the scales and what colors I want the fins. I do use the fins from the other fish as a template. I was toying with the idea of making this one also another journal spot, but ultimately I decided I want variety. So instead, I'm making a thought bubble journal spot. I felt like the lined paper journal thought bubble needed a pop of color, so I glued it onto this light pink just to give it a border and a little bit of a pop once it gets glued onto a journal page. I am really happy with how these few collage pieces turned out. These are just a few of many that I ended up making. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have an amazing, beautiful, wonderful day. And until next time, bye.